Hello, beloveds. Hello. This is a special Detroit, Motor City edition of Young, Wealthy, and Black Academy. It's special for a couple reasons. It's special for one reason that I'm in the birthplace and home of, of two queens, of one queenie. My wife was born and raised here in Detroit, and another queen that you may have heard about her. This lady named Aretha Franklin that we know and love. Aretha Franklin, the queen of soul. You may say, well, wait a minute, Carlos, what does Aretha Franklin have to do with Young, Wealthy, and Black Academy? A couple ways. One is the financial ramifications of Miss Aretha Franklin's estate. We want to deal with that. And then secondly, I want to deal with getting a person's story right. Because this is a part of wealth as well, getting the story right. First, the financial part. As you may well know, Miss Aretha Franklin was born in the South, but she was certainly raised in Detroit, where I actually am today. I'm actually filming from, hey, if you're ever in Detroit, give these folks a shout out. Gus's Chicken. We're not getting paid for that. I just happen to like the chicken, and it is black owned, and chicken is fantastic. Oh, about Miss Aretha Franklin. She's I don't know. They may not want me to know. Let's just say a really close family member has some ties, some good ties with Miss Franklin. All right, people. I told you we're gonna have special guests on this YouTube channel from time to time. We have none other than, now he's gonna be real modest, but I'm gonna try to ask some questions so he can open up about the special life he's lived here in Detroit. This is Mr. Al Demings. Let's kind of start at the beginning. So, read to find out about you. I mean, how'd you end up getting the gig?
Her father was a close friend of a friend of mine's father, Mr. Harry Kincaid, and I was a friend of his son. And Mr. Kincaid asked me if I wanted to do a little part-time work, security, and I consented to do or accepted to do so.
Fantastic. When I say that Miss Franklin is near and dear to our family, she really is. And what were their wishes as it relates to their estate? So do you know? What's your mother's, what's your father's, what's your husband's or your wife? What's their wishes as it relates to your estate? It's your own wishes. I'm talking about this because unfortunately, Ms. Franklin respectfully could have done better as it relates to her will. As it stands today, she had no official will, nor did she have a trust. She had 3 handwritten letters for the family to go by as it relates to her wishes. And because of this, the family continues to be, let's just say they're still trying to figure it out. Her estate is valued at anywhere from $18 to $80 million. That's a big, we need to know our net worth. That's what that's aiming to, right? We should know our net worth within a few $1,000, not with a almost $60 million variance. And then once we know our net worth, then if our net worth is anywhere north of a few grand, then we should have a will associated with this net worth. So in our untimely death, those who survive us know how we want it dispersed. The unfortunate part about Mrs. Franklin's estate is that there's some $8 million in tax liability associated with it. So let's say if we take that $18 million number, there's $8 million of it that's going to go to the Fed. So the family's left with $10 million. I'm pretty sure, I should say, this was not her wishes. So how do you avoid that? You avoid this by making sure that you handle your taxes before you expire. So these are some important points. First thing, let's talk about some financial things. We're going to get into each one of these in detail, every step. But let's talk about the first three steps towards financial wealth. And we got to land here because I'm so saddened by the fact that Miss Franklin's estate is in disarray. First thing that we must do is we have to have a spending plan. We have to have a budget. We need to know what money's coming in, what money's going out, and this is going to help us when it comes time to do our taxes at the end of the year to know how much money should be allocated as far as our taxes. So then we won't get to the end of our life. We won't get to the end of a year, let alone the end of our life, and not know what our tax liability, if any, is. Got to have a budget. That's one reason to have one. There's multiple reasons to have a budget. Another reason is you need to know how much money you have to spend on a weekly, on a monthly basis. And then another really great reason to have a budget is you need to know how much you're going to need in retirement. More on that later. I want to just keep it simple. Second thing that we must do as far as building wealth. So the first step is having a budget. The second step is going to be to, as quickly as you can, build up a small kitty emergency fund, $1,000. Now this is not the 3 to 6 month emergency fund. We're going to come back to that, but the second step is just build up $1,000 in the bank. Then once you do that, the third step is then you must get a life insurance policy, y'all. That's why you got to have the budget first, right? So you know, okay, how much can I afford to spend a month on a life insurance policy? And it's got to be term life insurance that you can look up certainly on any of, you can surf the internet and find a reputable life insurance company that will sell you term life insurance. And if there's folks that are selling term life insurance, give me a call so that maybe we can work a partnership. But you gotta get term life insurance, $30,000, $50,000, $100,000 just to start, just to make sure that you have some life insurance in case you die. No one knows the day or the hour. These are all the initial steps to building wealth. Then we come back and we visit each one of these. We come back and we true up the budget. We come back and we add to the emergency fund and subsequent steps to get beyond that 1,000. We want to get to that closer to 6 months of an emergency fund. And then we come back to the life insurance because you want to get 2, 4 to 5 times your annual salary and your life insurance policy. But first, this is all about minimums. Minimum starter budget, minimum $1,000 in the bank, minimum get a policy, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, better than nothing, get that. Now, why am I talking about this so feverishly? Because the unfortunate part is the mistakes that Ms. Franklin made as far as her estate are not uncommon. It's not uncommon to folks, period, but it's certainly not uncommon to Black folks. So we have to do better. And it just saddens me that her estate was left in such disarray. And I don't want that for you. I don't want that for anybody. So let's work towards having that. And if you have any questions about that, please give us a call, give us a ring, put it in the IM, contact us. These are steps that it's easy. This is an easy conversation, an easy IM back and forth to handle steps 1 through 3. And it'll literally change your legacy if we just do the first 3 steps. Fourth step, we need to have a will. Ideally, you'll sit down with an attorney in your state and develop a will. Short of that, I mean, there are software programs you can you can deal with. I mean, there's NOLO, I know is one of them. Legal Zoom is another. I don't get any money for any one of those. I just want you to be safe. So get yourself a will in place. Get a will in place. And then have a family meeting and let them know verbally what's written in the will. I guess we don't do it because maybe feelings will be hurt, but I think it's better to handle it while you can have a conversation back and forth than to handle it, than for the family to be left handling it afterwards. And then you got to get attorneys involved, probate court is involved, and all kind of lawyer fees and unnecessary funds by way of taxes. So I don't think it's disrespectful to Miss Franklin. I do not want to be disrespectful to her because she doesn't owe me anything. Her gift was magnificent and she has blessed my life. I just want to use this as a way of saying, listen, we have to do better. There's millions of dollars that are going to be foregone towards her family that are going to go into the coffers of the state government of Michigan, who doesn't need it. They have plenty of money. And go in the hands of attorneys who don't need it, have plenty of money. And not, more importantly, not go in the hands of her beloved family members. Don't want that for you, so let's do steps 1 through 4. Step 1, again, by way of review, budget. Step 2, feverishly, as quickly as possible, get $1,000 in the bank. Step 3, you need to get term life insurance. Step 4, make a will. All right, beloved, thank you so much. Again, like I said, this is really cool to do a story about the queens of Detroit, in Detroit, to pay honor to the 2 queens of Detroit, one being my beloved wife and the other being, of course, Miss Franklin. So with that, beloveds, have a great rest of your day. Thank you.